Hi, my name's Jonathan Harden. Welcome to the very first UK Emerging Actors Roundtable. If you don't know who I am, I'm the guy behind the Honest Actors podcast, and this is a brand new collaboration between me and the guys here at Spotlight, the aim of which is to bring the kind of conversations I've been having in the podcast to actors who are just entering the industry. Now, if you're one of the people who applied to do this, thank you. It was incredibly difficult to select the final group. So difficult, in fact, that I failed to select 6 and have ended up with 7. But I hope that the 7 I've picked represent a diverse range of backstories and starting points, and that through the discussion we'll be able to offer actors like them and the people who applied a better sense of what the industry is like and what they can expect. My hope for the project is that we will meet this same group of actors again in the autumn and maybe several times again after that. In fact, for me, this project doesn't really start to begin until we can compare and see how things have progressed for each individual in the group between conversations. So I hope you enjoy it. All that remains for me to say is thank you to everybody who provided questions and conversation topics. Thanks to Spotlight for providing lights and cameras and microphones and talented people to operate them. And thanks to you for watching. Enjoy.
Jack Noble. I studied a drama degree at Queen Mary's University, graduating in 2014. So I did that, and I got an agent, a semi-decent agent, and what was auditioning for sort of commercials and TIEs. I kind of felt like I was missing the structure and kind of a set of skills to compete with other people I was auditioning kind of against, I suppose. Not that you should think about it that way. So that's why I'm now doing a 1-year postgrad at Drama Studio. I'm hoping that will improve and make me much more employable, but it's obviously scary that I spend all that money and then I'm just in the same place as I was a year ago, struggling to get seen for decent work, I guess. But that's just a worry. I feel like I have progressed and it will change things for me in some way, whatever that is. The main aim is to have started to build connections, starting to put things in place to have a career that hopefully lasts a decent amount of time.
Lou Waller. I just moved to London in June, so I'm quite new in the city. I was training with the Actors class, which is a 10-week course, and I finished there in June. I'm now part of their alumni, and I'm working in a restaurant in London Bridge, and I'm also studying a degree as well, so I'm very busy. I want to get a good foundation in the industry, get a proper feel for it, because at the moment I still feel like I'm in like nursery. I've got like a plan for the next 6 months, but the next 2 years I want to have an agent and I want to be working more regularly, and I'd like to write my own stuff as well, actually, and get new headshots. That's the first thing I need to do. It's been a bit of a shock how much work you need to put in, even if you're not doing it full time all the time, and it's so dependent on you, especially when you're so new and quite young as well and look young. You've got to work enough hours in the week to pay rent, but you've also got to have some time off to do some stuff for you as an actor, and then I've got my degree as well, and then if you're filming something or working on something or you want to write something, then it's just time management as well for me personally.
Hi, my name is Mokhadi Masugu. My family's from Swaziland, so I'm from Swaziland, but we're also from South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho. I grew up in Zimbabwe, and I've got family there as well, in Mozambique. I am currently on the Acting and CDT course, which is the Acting Collaborative and Devised Theatre course at Central. I'm on the course because it allows me to learn the craft of acting, but also allows me to learn how to make the work that I see or want to see done. I want an agent, but more than that, I want someone I can work with. Someone will say to me, well, you said, and I agreed that you want to be this and you want to do this. so why don't we do this? You know? And I don't know how you find that person. I think everyone's fantasy is to be in a film. I want that, definitely, but I want to have been on somebody's stage, for musing it.
My name's Georgia Tui. I'm 24 and I'm studying musical theatre, which is great. I really enjoy it. And I'm also looking to hopefully go and study my master's in acting somewhere down here. So I've applied for 3 different schools. What I've learned is that the competition is rife, but it's also worse if you're an average actor. A lot of actors might see the journey as a big struggle. It's really hard, I'm slogging away and it's really difficult. But I think the journey is the exciting part. At the minute, I haven't really come up against any major setbacks. There's always going to be small setbacks, but I think that's just a given. The struggle for me at the minute is kind of juggling all these things and feeling okay about how everything's going. My goals are to take Elaine Page's Sunday radio show from her and have it like that. I'm joking, it isn't, but that would be great. That would be brilliant. I just want to be able to have a sustained, fruitful career as an actor and a performer.
So Younes Bouzinav, I'm 29 years old and I'm just started my 3rd year at drama school at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. I'm from Belgium originally. My mother is Greek and my father's Moroccan. So I'm Belgian, Greek and Moroccan. I should kind of get used to saying that. I kind of took on this idea of curating, that we have a word, we have a say in our careers, even though careers can get muddy. Thinking in terms of not just being a cog in the whole system, but also having a say, a word, a voice in it. So curating your own kind of the projects you want to do, if you want to devise something yourself, what type of job you want to be put forward for. When you're training a drama school, you're very much kind of focusing on yourself, your habits. It's very much about you. But then all of a sudden, the 3rd year happens, and you're just, there are other people. So you have to be okay, how can I introduce myself in a way that's not either pretentious, arrogant, that you kind of spark some kind of interest in them. And that's it. It's been a bit of an interesting kind of challenge. Yeah, it's mainly just finding my voice and finding people who might be interested in working with me.
My name is Jennifer Kay. I'm 32. I'm originally from Bolton, near Manchester, and I graduated in 2006 from the Arden School of Theatre. And I sort of fell into TIE, basically. I got a job about 5 or 6 months after graduation, and I really enjoyed it, and I was getting paid to act, and I was working, I was one of the few people to get a job quite soon. And then I just sort of stayed in it. I realised that I was doing TIE because it was better than doing a bar job, and then I had a bit of a crisis of confidence, basically, and I sort of said to myself, do I even love this anymore? Do I even want to be an actor? Am I any good at acting? And then realised I needed to revisit my training and I need to have a bit of a reboot. So I did the whole auditioning again and auditioned for loads of different places, and I got onto the MA course at Arts Ed, and I'm about 7 weeks into it now. For me now, it's all about find the goal, work towards the goal. So, if I could say I've been in something like the Royal Court, or now I've been in rehearsal and development for a piece of new writing with the writer in the room and creating something like that and getting my name in the first programme, in the first script. That's it, that's the goal.
I'm Paul Boychat. I am 41 years old, and for the last couple of years I've been trying to be an emerging actor. I did a bit of part-time training at City Lit. That's where I really started and kind of discovered that acting was more interesting than anything else I'd ever done before. It got to the point where I couldn't do any more in a kind of part-time way. I couldn't balance the two sides of my life. I had to commit to one or the other. And so 18 months ago, I chucked in my job, kind of set fire to my life in some ways, and went full-time training for a year on a postgrad course at the Court Theatre Training Company. and I've just come out of that in July and August. At the moment, I'm kind of investing in my CV effectively. I'm doing short films wherever I can. I'm doing fringy, any kind of theatre stuff that I can do to build CV, build credits, build experience, all that kind of good stuff. That's unsustainable. Like, I'm going to run out of cash, and I think I'm going to need to find some way of balancing this new actory life with something that actually feeds the kids. I would really love to get to the point where I was comfortable saying, I'm Paul and I'm an actor, and I'm not there yet. And I think that means working more than I'm not. But that's big dreams, right? I think. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to start by asking a very simple question. How many of you Googled each other before you came here today?
No, I didn't actually. No.
I did.
See, I purposely didn't give full names until this morning, and I thought I'll ask how many of you Googled. What did you find out?
Not that much, actually. There's a few casting called pro stuff, and then like school pages, like so where people went to school and trained.
So I feel like one of the conversations we should be having tonight, and I should say, to explain some of the noise that may appear in the background, it is the night which Scotland and England have just played a football match. I don't know who's won, but I imagine noise outside may have.
Don't worry, we'll help.
So while we're all in this very kind of unique position as a group of being emerging actors, horrible, I just wanted to ask a question which I asked all of you when I talked to you on Skype earlier in the week, or last week. To train or not to train? Like, why train? There are people in this room who are currently training, there are people in this room who have trained and are back to train some more, and there are people in this room who haven't trained and don't have intention of training. So somebody leap in, start us off. What's to be got from training? Why train or why not train if you're in that
I
position?
think you have to. In my opinion, I think it's essential. From two kind of perspectives. Firstly, to know yourself. You know, the work that I'm doing at the moment at the school that I'm at is all about knowing yourself. And I think if you haven't been taught how to know yourself, how can you then put on a character?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from the other perspective of being slightly mercenary, you've got to have a good school on your CV, or a school on your CV if you want to be taken seriously, I think. And you need the showcase, and you need the public productions, and you need the contacts that your school will provide you.
Okay, so I'll just say, in terms of the group, I think it's pretty much like 2/3 of you, of 7, you do the math, have, that's something I find that funny. Will that make the edit? Who knows? Roughly 2/3 have trained, and whatever remaining haven't. I think it's 1/3, don't look it up, don't quote me on it, but I think that's what remains after you take 2/3 away. In terms of the other side of that, so the ones that haven't yet trained, or are planning to train, or don't intend to train, why are you not training? If those, and those are two cracking arguments for training, why not?
I feel like I've experienced both sides of the coin, really, and the way I've done it, I feel, has been the best way for me personally. So I'm not old, but I'm older than maybe somebody that's just graduating from uni and going, that's come from college, uni, drama school, whatever. So I have got my own experience before I then thought, okay, maybe I'll consider drama school now, which I have. But I completely agree with what you said. I totally agree with that. But I also think training doesn't just mean drama school. I think for different people, where they're at in different parts of their life, training can come from anything, and that sounds very broad, but drama school isn't the only route, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I have applied to go, and I really, really want to go, but that's because now I feel personally at this point in my life it's the best time for me to go, having done other things. So I think it totally depends on you and what you're doing and where you're at, mentally, as well as a range of things.
I think it's hard to say that you don't need. I think you need to go to class, right? You need to learn and practice and get skills and work on a craft. do you need to go to a top-line drama school? Is that it's kind of where that line of
That's
thinking
what
is going?
I believe, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hope not, otherwise I'm in some trouble. And I think it's clear you'll have a different start in the career in the industry. And does that mean I will never get the momentum? That's to be. That's a worry for me.
You know, wasn't the quote like it's our job is like this much talent and this much luck. So I think and quite a lot of luck is the luck you make, and part of that luck is picking a good school. Or a renowned school that helps you kind of get that foot in. That's part of that. But so in that regard, but luck is luck. You can be walking down the street and someone goes, "Hey, I saw you in this," or "I heard about you." I think from that perspective of our work,
doesn't matter how you get there, as long
as you do. But I do think you need to train, because with any job that you want to do, you want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what training is.
Yeah.
It's like you want to know what you're doing. The reason why I went to drama school is, I started life as a dancer, and I trained in order to dance. I can dance instinctively. I can do that, and that's great. But there's some things that I couldn't do or couldn't think to do, but learned with training that, actually my body can do this. Even if my body feels like I'm going to fall over, actually I'm not. I'm going to do it. And that was my logic for going to drama school. Is like, I'm an instinctive actor, but instinct untrained, to me, instinct untrained is wasted. That was why I went to drama school.
But it's also not, I feel like for me, I went to university. I did quite a few years at university. And
so many of you, sorry, I'm just going to check in. Many of you have been to university to study something other than drama studies, acting.
Graduate, but yeah.
So a significant amount. Many who studied, say, drama, went to university and studied a drama degree, or you're studying musical theatre or whatever. So 3. So actually between the group, we've all done a degree. Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You should have picked somebody else. Sorry, I interrupted you in this.
No, but just to say that I went to uni knowing that I wanted to go and train, because I felt like, yes, I need to kind of sharpen some kind of the instinct and everything. But then I feel like it's being on that course is just so much more than just what I expected. It's so much more than just, and it doesn't mean that I completely agree with you that it depends on your personality and where you're at in your life. There's no kind of right answer, and it completely makes sense that to be kind of industry savvy and understand the influence of the drama school you're going to and what kind of can come out of it. But I feel like for me, like even on a kind of individual level, like I've learned, I knew nothing about devising. I knew nothing about, and learning about different cultures and different kind of theatre practitioners, and it kind of also boosts your passion and your dreams. You become like, I can do this, and maybe when I'm going to come out, I'm going to kind of build a project and collaborate with people and go like beyond. So I think it's like I think it's an impossible question to answer, I would say. It's like it really depends. You need to know yourself and to know where you're at in your life.
It's hard because there's no right or wrong. There's no book. It's not like another profession, whatever that would be, where you think, right, I know exactly what I need to do. When I do this, get to the end, then I'm going to be whatever, and it's going to be great. There's no.
So let me ask a question that might throw this somewhere else. It might not. But say, Jennifer, you started it off. Say you've worked professionally for 10 years roughly, give or take. Was there a difference between the actors you worked with that you knew who were trained and those who were untrained?
Yeah.
What was that? What was the difference?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously subjective, but there is a sort of I have found instinct plays a great part with untrained actors, but when you're on a tour that's 6 months, it's the trained actors who will survive, who will be able to continue vocally, who will be able to manage it physically and mentally. And I think there's a sort of, I talked about knowing yourself and knowing your limitations and what your body can do, and I think if you haven't had that guidance, you don't
protect yourself quite so well.
That kind of makes me think, is it kind of the actual training on, because I don't know, if you can act, you can act, in my humble opinion. So that kind of makes me think,
Everybody's doing this. We hope.
yeah, we all like to think so. So if you can act, you can act, but that kind of makes me think, when you get in that training, it's obviously
It's the
more
technical
important
stuff,
for the other side of the stuff, not particularly the acting. You've got to know how to look after yourself, your mind, your body, because that's what's going to carry you through.
So I'm going to see this through its natural conclusion. I know you've worked professionally as well for a couple of years, so you might want to throw something in, but it's slightly shifting it again, which is it possible to get to that point where you can do a 6-month tour where you can walk into a 900-seat theatre and be heard in the back row if you're not trained? Is it possible to somehow acquire that?
I think it, of course it is, with, you know, you train on the job, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
And if you're a sensitive person, as most people are in our industry, you do learn, sure. You learn.
But I think you're making it that much harder for yourself
Yes.
by not taking the time to prepare for the real world.
It's almost like you have to make mistakes before you go, okay, now I can't do
So
this.
because you don't have the reps. I mean, there used to be like a lot of rep companies here, so there was a whole kind of tradition of like you go to the reps, and then some of them would then kind of go on to drama school. Some didn't need to, but it's just, you train on the job. And it was a specific kind of atmosphere.
I think didn't drama school happen because of the fact that not everyone could get into a rep? Isn't it? That's it. Literally, it's like, well, I mean, I don't know if it's because and also because everything's become so institutionalized. So like, I guess they having like a place to go to train. It literally is because you want to get that. You want to get that muscle worked, so you know how to work the muscle, which muscle to. And it's true. It's like not all training is going into a school. It's taking classes. It's knowing. So you would like, if you've done that, if you've taken the classes, if you've actually been in a rehearsal and learned from the other actors. One of our vocal coaches was talking about the fact that you will go into a play or you'll go into a film, whatever, and you'll walk in and be warming up in the corner, and another actor will be standing there smoking or doing whatever. You keep doing what you're doing. You'd be surprised at the number of actors that join you and start warming up because it's your job to be ready to work. If you've done that, if you've learned how to get ready to work, you can walk into that theatre and do that. Okay. But it's preparing yourself.
I'd be keen to. Wouldn't want the message to be, or at least that to get that training, you need to go to a top line drama school. I don't. I think you could learn it quite practically through in a whole bunch of different ways, without feeling. It can't be that you can only enter the industry and be a success if you've been to a top line.
I think you need to qualify it though with. I think in terms of actual actor training, you can get that. There are plenty of good classes, but I mean, okay, I'm being mercenary about it. I'm talking about the business side. Okay. And I feel from my experience, having been to done my BA at a fairly small drama school in Manchester, and worked for some time and hit that ceiling that because my drama school just doesn't open the doors for me. So for me personally, I needed to have a reboot and this time go to the best school that I can possibly get in.
So for those of you then who are out in the industry already and haven't got that, in your case Lou, you don't have something on your CV that's opening doors for you. How do you surmount that? What do you do on a day-to-day basis to, you're chasing up you're chasing up money for a film. That means you get paid for a film. That's a success. So how do you get to that if so many people come out of drama school and can't get paid work?
Just have that edge. You open the door yourself. So when I see a show, the next day I will write to the casting director or the director or the stage door and be like, I just saw this. I saw this that you did. Great. It'd be great to meet with you sometime. Here's my whatever. Send it off. And that's and it seems so old-fashioned, but it actually works. You get a lot of you do. You get a lot back from that. And I have taken classes. I'm not trained at a big drama school. I had an epiphany in an audition where I was like, this is not for me. And I've taken classes and great classes as well. I would rate my training really highly. I'm nowhere near saying that I am a finished product. I don't believe you ever are. And you keep training that muscle. You know, you keep stretching, and but I've got good contacts. But you put yourself out there in a different way. So when I get a job, I got that job myself. I'm not currently represented by an agent, so I got that myself. But then the other side of that is when it goes not your way, you're like, that's my bad. What can I do next time to to maybe not necessarily fight harder. Sometimes it's out of your control, but you're so much more accountable. I think looking back, I personally felt the drama school was almost not the easier option, but it was kind of passive, where I could sit back, and if after 3 years I didn't get any work, it's, well, they didn't train me properly, they didn't do this. And I'm accountable for everything I do. So you just you write the letters, you send the tweets, you send the emails.
Shameless tweets.
Yeah, but you do, and people see them, and good or bad. I've seen people send bad tweets about shows, and people have seen them, and it's not.
Yeah.
People are looking everywhere.
I think there's, going off what you've just said, I totally agree, and I think that in itself, there's a knack to being that person that's constantly like, here I am, but not here I am, I don't care really for you or what you've just done, I just want you to notice me. There's such a way of saying what you want to say to get people to be like, you know what, this person's really listened and done their homework, I'm actually going to watch their show reel, because so many people must email these casting directors and be like, hello, I'm here, can you watch my video? And they're like, well, no, because it's Saturday night probably, or you've just emailed me, not introduced yourself, why should they watch something of yours? And there is a proper knack to doing that, and I think if you don't want to go to drama school, then get good at that and you stand a great chance.
I think even if you do go to drama school, get good at that.
Oh yeah,
You have to have ownership of your job. And I think I agree with you entirely. The fact of the matter is, I strongly believe that we are never finished growing and learning, and if you get complacent, then like we all know actors, you've seen films or seen a play, you're like, wow. I know. Or that you haven't changed, you're still playing the same character that you were playing when I was 12. And that's and that's great, that was great when I was 12, but now that also I'm working as an actor, like I know that we can, you get kind of itch to be to do something, you get that itch, like just itch. But I think you have to constantly mine and constantly move yourself, and getting good at that, because it's something that I love working, and I just want to work, and that's I just want to work kind of attitude, and I think that's what you should have, whether or not you go to drama school.
Like genuinely, I think it's incredibly admirable. I don't think I could do it. I'm being really honest. Like I don't think I could do it. I think you talk about drama school as the easy option. I mean, it hasn't been an easy option for me to make that decision to go back. But I think, from my perspective, if I was in your shoes, it feels like so much harder. Like it feels like the hard option. You like, I'm taking the easy option. I am.
And I didn't mean that drama school is the easier option. I just meant that.
That's what you said.
That's not what I meant.
That's what you said.
So much easier.
I love the first time you thought I was serious.
You're just such a good actor.
My point is that if I get to choose the easy option or the hard option, I'm going to choose the easy option.
No, I agree.
Because even the easy option is so hard.
That's what I meant.
So let's kind of take it somewhere else then, which is a couple of you are doing 3-year courses, which is, if we're going to say it, make it about easy and hard, that's a hard option out of the two options. If we're going to be cynical about it, the easy option is to do the 1-year MA, which is what you two are doing. You have
I can't do another BA.
You know what I mean? I was going to say, you already having done the BA, and you having done a BA drama in a very good university, right? So is the year worth it? Is a 1-year course worth it? Training terms? Is a 1-year course the kind of thing that you do? Some people, I'm not saying you, do you feel like some people do 1 year, not necessarily where you are, but in other institutions, do they do it cynically? Is it, for some people, can it be a cynical thing of like, I need the stamp. I don't have 3 years or the money for 3 years. I just need the stamp. Give me the
I
stamp.
don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think certainly in my year, like, we are super serious. Every single person. I imagine it's the same deal. So I think
it's the attitude towards it. I think people doing a 1 year course, they are there to get what they can out of it in the amount of time they have.
Yeah.
And the money, you know,
yeah,
really expensive. So, like, I want to suck every inch of learning that I can get out of my
And a
course.
year is not a lot of time.
Because I've only got a year.
And you feel the time pressure you have to do it.
People come from other walks of life, you know, who've never acted before, who've suddenly gone, oh my God, this is it, you know, I have to do this right now. I have to follow my dream. I have to do it now. And a BA, for whatever reason, isn't an option for them. I think actually the MA there's a sense of urgency about it.
Because it kind of distills it down, and maybe I'm wrong perception, but it seems like a 3 year is almost as much about getting a degree. And so is there stuff that you don't need in that 3 year period?
Because we were talking about like my aha moment, as they call it, like at some point during the summer, I don't know if it was this summer or last summer, when I realized, I'm not going to have learned how to be an actor by the time I graduate. It's okay. I was panicking because 3 years isn't enough. I realized that in my first year that this is not enough time for me to actually learn all that I need to learn in order for me to do my job.
On the flip side of that, you can't spend your entire life training. You will learn your entire life, but you have to get out there and learn. That's what a 1 year course does, is that it gives you a set of skills that are enough for you to at least start trying.